So basically, I'll show you the construction. There's our firebox, and there's our fuel load inside of there. He's lined the inside of this with gypsum board. So the idea is he might get 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 burns out of this configuration before he has to throw it away. So what you do then, after you've used the first firebox, you slip another little firebox in. So it just gives it a little bit extended lifespan. A bit of extra work, but it pays off. So what we'll do shortly is we'll light up that fire in there. We'll push this box back in. And what you've got is a couple of potential openings. Obviously one down here, a small one there, and a big one over here. So at the moment, that's just a closed space. When I take that out of the way, it becomes a nice big open space, and we can then get smoke flowing across this ceiling area here, this corridor type effect over here. We can then do some interesting things. We can try using the air track or the flow path to draw a bit of water through. We'll try some gas cooling to stop that igniting, and you'll probably find, Frank says, it won't work because that's like your short pulse. So then we'll try the long pulse with our slightly bigger water supply over here and see if that makes an impact on the propagation of that smoke into flame across that compartment area there. What else could we try? Once we get that pumping, what other variations of ventilation can you try? Well, one thing you could do is there's a technique called blocking. It's got some benefit. So what we could do is we could start off with that closed, get a nice hot fire, open it up and see how long it takes before that ignites. You could then close it down and wet all those linings in there and put a little bit of water fog in there before you open it up. Now it's not going to stop the propagation, but it could slow it down from a little bit to a useful bit. So it's not the be-all end-all of techniques, but it does help. All right, so we're almost ready. We've got Frank here dressed in breathing apparatus. So my able-bodied assistant, as soon as he's ready, we'll light the fire. Got our extraction system going. So you happy with me to start with that closed? Right, and we'll just watch that air track or that profile, and we can change it. Sorry. Got to be careful where I stand. I've got potential to block up about 4 cameras. So Frank's got that half open. So at this point in time, there's a gap up the top there, about this wide, and with smoke's flowing up and across here. So what sort of air track do you think we've got there, or flow path? Sorry? Unidirectional. Okay, so here's our inlet. It's a total inlet. Here's our exhaust. It's a total exhaust. Good. So I imagine this is not as good for teaching the different stages of fire development because of the profiles we've got there. This is more advanced and it gives us some additional ideas on flow path and manipulation of the flow path. So now Frank's closed that off. What's going to happen to the flow path now? Yeah, we've got a little bit of an opening there, but it's not really enough, is it? It's trying to be unidirectional, but I think it's going to struggle. Okay, so it's half open again. Look at the smoke building up in this corridor area here. See if we can ignite it. I doubt if we can. So why can't we ignite that? It's too lean. There's not enough fuel there. There's too much moisture there. You see, you've got a nice, clearly defined neutral plane there. So Frank's going to open it right up now. That should improve the efficiency of the flow path through there, which should intensify the fire. I think it's probably still going to be too lean. I'm not even getting lengthening of the flame in there, so there's very little fuel in there. So Frank now can block off that air track. Watch the note, just note the change in colour or smoke colour. Plenty of air supply in here. We'll let it build up a bit of temperature.
Just mention how the smoke is coming down in the cold air.
Okay. Guys, just see, because we've got cold air, the smoke's rising to a certain point, then it's plateauing and actually starting to come down. So less smoke visible now. We've got a good flow path happening. Nice complete combustion, nice orange or red, or sorry, yellow-orange flames. We need to get that temperature up. We need to get that box itself breaking down so we can get some unburnt fuel in there. So we've got some nice clean combustion happening here because of the efficiency of the flow path. So we're going to obstruct that a little bit down the bottom there. And go, yeah. All right. Even that's enough to create more smoke. Choke it off a little bit. Sorry? Ah, yes. We wanted to choke it off a little bit. Just put this a bit over here. That's good enough. So I'm starting to get lengthening of the flame just around there, so we're getting a higher percentage of unburnt fuel but still not igniting. So we've got a really good air supply there. Let's just choke that fire back a little bit. Okay, look at the difference now. A little bit of smoke escaping through here. Okay, just give it a little bit more air. I've opened that up a little bit, got a better airflow through there. Choked it off a little bit, so we should get more unburnt fuel building up in our corridor.
Just to really give you an idea of how much the cold air has affected that smoke and its flammability, it's mixing, it's taking heat energy out. That's what happens in wintertime. Like when it gets cold.
Why don't you speak up? You can say it better than I can.
Okay, well,
Come on.
all right.
Come on.
So why is this not catching fire like it normally does? Why? Did we get the drywall? What's happening to the gases when they come out? They're cooling significantly, right? So, for Shan, this is not something he would see in Australia, but this is a cold day in Australia. Dramatically impacts that heat buildup in that fuel, right? So that's part of the stuff we've embedded in the program is it's going to change with weather, the environment, right? So you have to understand what you're looking at. It takes a lot more energy to bring that up for that combustion.
So that flame has started to lengthen. When I put it in there, it lengthens, telling me I've got some unburnt fuel in there. Not enough to spontaneously ignite, or to continue the ignition process. Getting very close. Almost there, almost got flammable concentrations. It's happening over here. Well, there we went. So it's just hit that sweet spot. See the lengthening? Well, maybe you can't see it, but when I'm putting that flame in now, it's actually lengthening. That little bit of fuel around there is actually combusting, but it's not spreading through the smoke layer. Now, the temperature's got to be increasing a little bit now because we've improved the ventilation. Just on the edge, outside the box. Very, very close. Can you guys see that? It's a great effect. Add a little bit of heat and I get that ignition. Almost propagates through, but not quite. Very close. Yeah, flash point. It is at flash point, but not enough to propagate. It's not self-sustaining. See that? Okay, it's gone now. We'll snuff it out. So that's right at that auto ignition temperature. There's almost nothing stopping that from rolling right across that ceiling. It's just a matter of time before that happens. And there it goes. Nothing's happening up here, see that? It's cooling down too much, diluting too much. Flammable around here. If we can cool that surface, you reduce the chances of igniting. Not eliminate it, but reduce it. Yeah, I could.
You got her. Yep.
It's bought us a little bit of time. It's called teamwork. Okay, so there's absolutely no flaming combustion up there now. We know it's right on the edge. Okay. Okay, you can open it up, are you?
Next time we're going to remove the drywall.
Okay. So I'll see if I can bring it back under control with a bit of water. Do you want to put it out or? So Frank's getting a little bit more air. Imagine a wind-driven effect. You can see that just sitting there. A gust of wind could be enough to trigger that whole thing into life. Bit of build up again. So we've got that fully open now. Here we go. We're actually starting to lose the side of that partition there. Yep.
Get it up. That's like a flashover simulator.
Yeah. You don't need one, do you? Let's give it some more air, see what happens. Just leave it there, I think. This is good. See if I can get that to flash back into the box. Quite fuel rich there. It's good. Let's cool these linings down a bit, see if it becomes a little bit less easy to ignite. A lot of temperature there. Let's then kind of propagate back in. So what's happening is that heated gases are actually turning that water on the surface into steam, giving us a little bit of an advantage.
Just closing up.
Okay. So we're just going to close off that air supply now. Okay, so the fire's basically gone out. Just because it's gone out doesn't mean it's still not producing flammable vapours. So whenever it's above the polarisation temperature, it'll continue to produce flammable mixtures or fuel. So once the water starts to evaporate, it should be easier to ignite. So you can see the relationship between air and water. Restrict the air, add water, and you start gaining control over the fire.
I'm going to try to make a flashover.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So now we've got all this area preheated. It's very hot. We've cut back the oxygen supply. Just cooling the outside of the box. Okay. Accumulated unburned fuel there. Let's give it a bit more air. And I think that probably another minute or two we should leave. Let's just try. Okay, so we've got that. Let's see if we can put that fire out by putting a little bit of water into the base of the fire in the form of a fog.
Close.
Just try the squirter first. Right on the edge. Okay. We're going to try the big one now, Frank, the heavy-duty straight stream. So you can see we can hold it to a certain extent with the little bit of water, and it gets to the point where you no longer hold it with small amounts of water. It's a long pulse scenario. So these techniques don't buy you indefinite time. Doesn't mean you can stay there. It just means it reduces the chances of igniting. It gives you time to move up onto the fire and actually start turning off the heat release rate. Doesn't make you Superman. So do you want to try opening it up and then putting water in through the base and see if they can draw it through the... Well, wait till it ignites. Wait till we get a rollover right across there, total involvement, and see if they can maybe do some indirect extinguishing here and draw that through the flow path. It's just igniting over there now. Just give it a little bit more air. Just maybe, yeah, take it back. Want to get that right across there. Then take that out of the way and just put some extinguishing down there. Bit more air, Frank? Yeah. Okay. So let it go. Just take it out. Go, let it go again. Okay, so we're starting to run out of fuel now. Okay, we've just got so much air coming through now, we're getting almost complete combustion. So there's very little unburnt fuel building up in this zone here. So unless we can cheat it a little bit with something like this, okay, I think it's just about over now. We've run out of our fuel and we can't block that opening off anymore to get that smoke accumulating in the corridor.
Not taking long for it to build up though.
So, do you don't think so?
We're 1200 degrees Fahrenheit.
1200. Impressive.
Yeah.
Trouble is it's burning so clean.
In the baffle?
Okay. Okay. It's just going to get flame across rather than pocketing of the flame, but we'll see. See if they get a bit of smoke in there again. One last time. But you see, it's a fine line between just having smoke and then suddenly igniting. There's not very much warning between the two zones. You see a little bit of water can buy you a little bit of time. Once it starts to get hot, you need more water to buy the time. And the time is still ticking and it can't stay there. It's just a technique that helps you a little bit. Cooling the outer surfaces, cooling them down, reduces the chances of that auto ignition occurring. Doesn't eliminate it, but it reduces it. Tips the odds in your favour a little bit. I think it's all over, Frank. What do you reckon? Put it out. So just pull it away.